All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair 13th Brics Summit today. Theme under India's chairship is Brics at 15, Intra-Brics Cooperation for Continuity, Consolidation and Consensus. India says use of Afghan soil to promote terrorism in any manner by any country is unacceptable and Taliban must live up to its declarations to that effect. Centre hikes minimum support prices for Rabi crops. Government approves procurement of 56 C-295 MW transport aircraft for Indian Air Force. Centre signs ceasefire agreement with National Socialist Council of Nagaland K Nikki Group for 1 year. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 71 crore mark. Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2021 to be launched under Swachh Bharat Mission Phase 2 today. And BCCI announces 15-member Indian squad for T20 World Cup. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in details. As part of India's ongoing chairship of Brics in 2021, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today chair the 13th Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa summit in the virtual format. The theme for the summit is Brics at 15, Intra-Brics Cooperation for Continuity, Consolidation and Consensus. India had outlined 4 priority areas for its chairship. These are reform of the multilateral system, counter-terrorism, using digital and technological tools for achieving SDGs, and enhancing people-to-people exchanges. We have a report.
The BRICS leaders will exchange views on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current global and regional issues. The meeting will be attended by President of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. This is the second time Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be chairing the BRICS summit. Earlier, he had chaired the Goa summit in 2016. The Indian chairship of BRICS this year coincides with the 15th anniversary of BRICS. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, President of the New Development Bank Marcus Trojo, the pro-tempore chair of BRICS Business Council Onkar Kanwar, and pro-tempore chair of the BRICS Women's Business Alliance Dr. Sangeeta Reddy will present reports on the outcome pursued this year under their tracks to the leaders during the summit. Anupam Mishra, AIR News, Delhi.
Talking to AIR News, Defence Expert and Director of Society for Policy Studies, C. Uday Bhaskar said, the summit is significant in view of the ongoing developments in Afghanistan.
BRICS meeting has a very important deliberation at summit level. I think Prime Minister Modi would be able to steer the discussion as the chair in the appropriate manner about the implications of the Taliban in Afghanistan. And given the fact that Prime Minister Modi himself has alerted the global community about the scourge of terrorism, I think getting some kind of consensus among the BRICS countries would be very valuable, because at the moment Russia and China have indicated that they are more empathetic with the Taliban than the other members of the Security Council as far as the permanent members are concerned. So I see the BRICS meeting as very important in putting India's own agenda and concerns on the table and seeing whether consensus is possible in terms of the final statement.
The External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said that the use of Afghan soil to promote terrorism in any manner by any country is unacceptable and the Taliban must live up to its declarations to that effect. The minister was addressing the Afghanistan conference co-convened by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas. Dr. Jaishankar said resumption of travel out of Kabul is a priority. He said the world should not tolerate interference by external players, especially those intensifying violence at this difficult time. He added that the collective approach should be guided by UNSC Resolution 2593. Russian National Security Advisor General Nikolai Patrushev and his Indian counterpart Ajit Dubhal yesterday held high-level consultations on Afghanistan in New Delhi. The visiting Russian NSA also called on External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said very useful discussions were held on Afghanistan. The Russian NSA also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that the visit of General Patrushev allowed useful discussions between both sides on important regional developments.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the increase in the minimum support prices for Rabi crops for Rabi marketing season 2022-2023. The MSP on lentils, rapeseeds and mustard have been hiked by 400 rupees per quintal each, gram by 130 rupees per quintal and safflower by 114 rupees per quintal. On wheat, the MSP has been increased by 40 rupees to 2,015 rupees per quintal and barley by 35 rupees to 1,635 rupees per quintal. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar addressed the media informing about the cabinet decision.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की अध्यक्षता में सीसीए की बैठक संपन्न हुई और इस बैठक में रबी सीजन के लिए 6 फसलों की एमएसपी का निर्धारण किया गया है। सारा देश इस बात का साक्षी है कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने किसानों के हित में उत्पादन लागत पर 50% मुनाफा जोड़कर एमएसपी घोषित करने का निर्णय किया।
The Union Cabinet also approved the production-linked incentive scheme for textiles. Under it, the incentives worth 10,683 crore rupees will be provided over 5 years. Briefing reporters in New Delhi, Textiles Minister Piyush Goyal said the decision will help in creating additional employment of over 7.5 lakh people directly and several lakhs more for supporting activities.
टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री सबसे अधिक रोजगार प्रोवाइड करता है। टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर का योगदान रहा है भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में बहुत बड़े रूप में भारत भी मैनमेड फाइबर्स के फैब्रिक में, उसके गारमेंट्स में भी अपना योगदान दे पाए, उसके लिए विशेषकर ये पीएलआई स्कीम मंजूरी की गई है। 10,683 करोड़ रुपए इसमें इंसेंटिव के रूप में प्रोडक्शन के ऊपर दिए जाएंगे।
The Cabinet has also approved the procurement of 56 C-295 MW transport aircraft for Indian Air Force. The Cabinet Committee on Security approved the procurement from Airbus Defence and Space SA, Spain, for the Indian Air Force. C-295 MW aircraft is a transport aircraft of 5 to 10 ton capacity with contemporary technology that will replace the aging Avro aircraft of IAF. 16 aircraft will be delivered in flyaway condition from Spain within 48 months of signing of the contract, and 40 aircraft will be manufactured in India by Tata Consortium within 10 years of signing of the contract. This is the first project of its kind in which a military aircraft will be manufactured in India by a private company.
Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that central government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is committed towards the progress of the farmers. Hailing the cabinet decision to hike in MSP for the Rabi marketing season 2022-2023, the minister described it as a big gift for farmers raising crops like wheat, mustard and pulses. More from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
On the cabinet approval of more than 10,000 crore rupees production-linked incentive scheme for the textile sector, Union Minister Mr. Pradhan said it would ensure Indian textiles gain a global edge besides boosting its exports. He said the PLI scheme will also create new avenues in employment and self-employment in the sector, thereby realizing the dream of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. The minister said it will benefit lakhs of weavers in states like Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Odisha. Girish Chandra Das, AIN News, Bhubaneswar.
You are listening to the Morning News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair 13th Brics Summit today. Theme under India's chairship is Brics at 15, Intra-Brics Cooperation for Continuity, Consolidation and Consensus. India says use of Afghan salt to promote terrorism in any manner by any country is unacceptable, and Taliban must live up to its declarations to that effect. Centre hikes minimum support prices for Rabi crops. Government approves procurement of 56 C-295MW transport aircraft for Indian Air Force. Centre signed ceasefire agreement with National Socialist Council of Nagaland K, Nikki Group, for 1 year. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 71 crore mark. Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2021 to be launched under Swachh Bharat Mission Phase 2 today. And BCCI announces 15-member Indian squad for T20 World Cup. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
In a significant boost to the Naga peace process, the centre has entered into a ceasefire agreement with National Socialist Council of Nagaland K Nikki Group for a period of 1 year. More than 200 cadres of this group, along with 83 weapons, joined the peace process. The ceasefire agreement and agreed ceasefire ground rules were signed yesterday. The central government has already signed a framework agreement with NSCN-IM and ceasefire agreements with other Naga groups, namely NSCN-NK, NSCN-R and NSCN-K Khango. Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2021 will be launched under Swachh Bharat Mission Phase 2 today. As part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin aims to support acceleration of open defecation-free plus interventions and results in the country. An expert agency has been hired to conduct the survekshan, under which villages, districts and states would be ranked using key parameters. Under the survey, 17,475 villages in 698 districts across the country will be covered. Around 1,74,000 households will be interviewed for their feedback on Swachh Bharat Mission related issues. Citizens will be mobilized to provide feedback on sanitation related issues online using an application developed for the purpose.
In a landmark achievement, India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 71 crores. The cumulative figure stands at 71 crore 52 lakh 54,153. Union Health Ministry said more than 54 crore 58 lakh vaccine doses have been administered as first dose and over 16 crore 94 lakh vaccine doses given as second dose. It said more than 73 lakh vaccine doses were administered yesterday. The ministry said that the vaccination exercise as a tool to protect the most vulnerable population groups in the country from COVID-19 continues to be regularly reviewed and monitored at the highest level. Maharashtra government has revised its guidelines for the Ganesh festival, considering the threat of the third wave in the state. The government has prohibited public from visiting Ganesh Pandals and Mukh Darshan of deity to avoid crowding and directed Ganesh Mandal organizers to make available online darshan or through other electronic and social media. Restrictions are also imposed on the processions during the festival. We have more from our Mumbai correspondent.
Amid fear of the third wave of COVID-19 pandemic, Maharashtra government has banned physical darshan for devotees at the public Ganpati Pandals and appealed to citizens to celebrate the festival with simplicity. Ganesh Mandals will have to get prior permission from local authorities and they should erect the pandals properly according to the guidelines of the authorities. Ganesh idols should be less than 4 feet tall for Sarvajanik Ganesh Mandals and it should be less than 2 feet for domestic worship. People should avoid crowding while conducting the programs like bhajan, kirtan and other religious activities. Processions have been banned while bringing the idols of the deity and during the immersion. Shailesh Patil, AR News, Mumbai.
In Kerala, 16 more samples of persons who showed symptoms of Nipah infection in Kozhikode have tested negative, bringing great relief for the state. All 46 samples tested so far have showed negative results. We have more from our correspondent.
State Health Minister Veena George said that Kozhikode is almost out of serious Nipah outbreak. The minister said that samples of all close contacts of the boy who died due to Nipah on Sunday, including his parents and health workers, turned negative, adding that the government would maintain strict vigil for 3 more weeks. Around 50 people with symptoms are still in the hospital and 119 persons are under observation. House-to-house surveys have been completed covering 4,995 households in the region. Meanwhile, studies are ongoing for finding the source of infection. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
All India Radio News has been at the forefront on raising awareness on COVID-19 among the citizens since the first coronavirus case was reported in India. In keeping with its role as a public service broadcaster, News Services Division of All India Radio started a special public outreach program, Corona Jagrukta series, in March last year. Today, this program completes its 500th episode. It is a live phone-in program in which top medical experts answer to COVID-19 related queries of citizens. Renowned doctors from AIIMS Delhi, AIIMS Regional Centres, GB Pant Hospital, RML, Safdarjung, Max, Gangaram Nimhans, Bangalore, CMC Vellore, Mumbai KEM Hospital and several other centres have responded to various queries from citizens all over the country. The program played a crucial role in generating awareness on COVID infection during lockdown and on the COVID-appropriate behavior in the unlock phase, and now it is playing an important role in dispelling the fears on safety and efficacy of the vaccines and allaying the doubts related to COVID-19 variants and Nipah virus. In today's 500th special episode, Dr. V.K. Paul, Chairperson of National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration at COVID-19, will be with us to address the queries. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on toll-free number 1-800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone numbers 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAir.
In Assam, rescue operation continues in the Brahmaputra at Nemati Ghat in Jorhat following yesterday's boat mishap. Assam State Disaster Management Authority CEO G.D. Tripathi said, as per the latest information, 2 persons are still missing, while 87 persons have been rescued or swam to safety. 1 female passenger has died. Chief Minister Hemant Biswa Sarma will visit the site today. 3 officials of Inland Water Transport Department have been suspended. An inquiry has been ordered by the department. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar said farmers who could not plant their crops due to flood would also be provided financial assistance from the state government. Mr. Kumar instructed officials to make a proper assessment for all other cases of crop losses and ensure timely financial assistance to the affected farmers across the state. The Chief Minister said a population of over 69 lakh in altogether 26 districts has so far been affected by floods in Bihar. As the nation celebrates 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, in which we bring you the glimpse of India's freedom struggle every day.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
Arjun Lal Sethi, born on this day in 1880, in Jaipur, was a revolutionary freedom fighter and educator. Sethi rejected the post of collector offered to him. He said, if he worked for the British administration, then who will work for the freedom of the nation?
In 1907, he established the Vardhaman Jain Vidyalaya, which became an important center of independence activists. He was given the responsibility of the armed revolution in Rajasthan by Ras Bihari Bose. Sethi scripted the attack on Viceroy Harding.
While serving as headmaster of Kalyanmal Mahavidyalaya at Indore, He was arrested and was kept in custody for 6 years until 1922.
In 1923, his son Prakash was critically ill. Sethi received a telegram urging him to come to Jodhpur immediately. Simultaneously, he received another telegram requesting him to travel to Bombay for meeting with the activists.
He decided to go for the meeting rather than see the ailing son.
The life of Arjun Lal Sethi will continue to inspire the coming generations.
On this day in 1943, 4 brave sons of Mother India were hanged for instigating revolt against the British Empire.
In 1942, the Japanese forces occupied the Southeast Asian region from the British. At the time, the Indian Independence League and the Indian National Army decided to recruit young Indian men to help free India from the British rule with the help of Japan.
In late 1942, 20 trained youths of the League managed to enter India. All of them were arrested soon after entry. 4 of them were sentenced to death for waging war against the king. These 4 sons of Mother India who braved the British might were
Abdul Qadir from Vaikom, Travancore,
Satyendra Chandra Bardhan from Tripura,
Anandan from Kerala,
Fauja Singh from Mehsana, Punjab,
Abdul Qadir's brave last words in a letter to his father were, "Do not grieve for me. From the eyewitnesses of my death, one day you will learn how calmly and bravely I faced death. You will be proud and happy then." Also on this day in 1918, Shambhu Dutt Sharma, a Gandhian freedom fighter, was born in Punjab. In 1942, at the age of 24, he resigned from the British Indian Army and joined Mahatma Gandhi's Quit India movement.
Shambhu Dutt Sharma was imprisoned many times during freedom struggle. Sharma's team was known as Gandhian Seva Brigade. On 15th of April in 2016, at the age of 97, he passed away.
In 1920, the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College of Aligarh was converted into the Aligarh Muslim University AMU. Thus, the present year represents a significant moment in the history of Aligarh Muslim University as AMU completes 100 years this day.
The Aligarh Muslim University played significant role in advancement of modern education on one hand and freedom movement on the other. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, published a book under the title of Asbab Baghawat-e-Hind, wherein he criticized the British rulers.
AMU produced many leaders who played an important role in the national struggle, such as Maulana Hasrat Mohani, Raja Mahendra Pratap, Ali brothers, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, to name a few.
Raja Mahendra Pratap Singh went to Germany and floated the idea of setting up a government in exile in Afghanistan in 1915. This was the first exiled government, a revolutionary step that remains a footnote in the history of freedom struggle.
One of the first non-cooperation upheavals was among the students of the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. Reports of these incidents prompted Mahatma Gandhi and the Ali brothers to visit Aligarh and appeal to the students to boycott their government-controlled institution.
Captain Abbas Ali, who studied at the AMU, was among few Indians who joined the Indian National Army in Malaya for the liberation of India.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar, AIR News Ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
As part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, AIR News is airing stories of bravery, valor and determination of unsung heroes of Indian freedom movement in our series Veer Gatha at 4:45 p.m. in Parikrama program. In today's episode, we will bring you the inspirational story of Babu Kumar Singh of Bihar, who played an important part in the First War of Independence in 1857.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में 9 सितंबर गुरुवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी की लड़ाई में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले बिहार के प्रथम भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सिपाही कुंवर सिंह की वीर गाथा।
Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, has announced Team India's 15-member squad for the T20 World Cup 2021. The T20 World Cup will be held in the UAE and Oman from 17th October to 14th November. Virat Kohli will lead the team with some fresh faces added. The team includes 3 pacers, Bhuvnesh Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami, while 5 spinners are Ravichandran Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, Rahul Chahar and Varun Chakravarti. Other members of the squad are Rohit Sharma, vice captain, KL Rahul, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, wicketkeeper, Ishan Kishan, wicketkeeper, and Hardik Pandya, while Shreyas Iyer, Shardul Thakur, and Deepak Chahar will be standby players.
In tennis, 18-year-old British sensation Emma Raducanu reached the US Open women's semi-finals after beating Tokyo Olympic champion Swiss Belinda Bencic in New York last night. He will now play 17th seed Greek Maria Sakkari in the semi-final. Sakkari beat Karolina Pliskova in the quarter-final. That should read she will now play 17th seed Greek. In the other semi-final, 19-year-old Canadian Laila Fernandez will meet number 2 seed Arina Sabalenka of Belarus. In men's singles, Olympic gold medalist Alexander Zverev has entered the semi-finals, defeating unseeded Lloyd Harris of South Africa in straight sets. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will generally have cloudy sky with light rain. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Hyderabad will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Bengaluru will have generally cloudy sky with light rain as well. Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Imphal will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Shillong will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Aswal will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Kohima will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers as well. Itanagar will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Afghanistan security on table as key US-Russian officials arrive in Delhi, headlines the Indian Express. India-Russia NSAs to work jointly on tackling Afghan threats, writes the Asian Age. At a conference of over 15 foreign ministers, Dr. S. Jaishankar called upon Taliban to keep their word, deny safe havens to terrorists, reports the Tribune. At least 14 members of Taliban's government on UNSC's terrorism blacklist, reports the Pioneer. Centre opens NDA to women after SC push, reports Hindustan Times. IAF to get 56C-295 Airbus aircraft, writes the Statesman. And finally, in some good news for the environment, 45% of all U.S. power supply may come from the sun by 2050, says a study quoted by Hindustan Times. Elevated taxiways to be ready by December 2022 will help Indira Gandhi International Airport cut carbon dioxide emissions by 55,000 tons annually, reports the Times of India.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair 13th Brics Summit today. Theme under India's chairship is Brics at 15, intra-Brics cooperation for continuity, consolidation and consensus. India says use of Afghan soil to promote terrorism in any manner by any country is unacceptable and Taliban must live up to its declarations to that effect. Centre hikes minimum support price for Rabi crops. Government approves procurement of 56C-295 MW transport aircraft for Indian Air Force. Centre signs ceasefire agreement with National Socialist Council of Nagaland K-Niki Group for 1 year. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 1 crore mark. And BCCI announces 15-member Indian squad for T20 World Cup. With that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.